Shalom, Ta'ala Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, who are the house of David reborn again in this generation. And Shalom to the 130 Asharala, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians, who before losing their true heritage were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. This is Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
Metrically to almost 6 billion people, and could easily exceed 8 billion by the year 2020. The negative impact of population growth on all of our planetary ecosystems is becoming appallingly evident. Unless nations will agree to work together to tackle these cross-border challenges posed by population growth, overconsumption of resources, and environmental degradation, the prospects for a decent life on our planet will be threatened. The recent UN meeting in Cairo is appropriately focused on one of these key issues, population growth.
I wish to thank the sponsors for inviting me. I don't often get invited. This was an important debate. I had planned another closing message, but I feel compelled to say what I'm about to say. Now, I risk sounding like a conspiracy theorist, but it's no longer a theory. What I'm about to say is fact. The secret organizations of the world power elite are no longer secret. They have planned and are now leading us into a one-world communist government. The combining of national governments started with the European Union. That union started with trade agreements, then a common currency, the euro, and now a European Parliament that is feverishly passing laws that override the laws of the member nations. A constitution was drafted but rejected by a few of those nations, but never mind. They implemented it anyway. Now it's North America's turn. Building on the North American Free Trade Agreement, the NAFTA section of the Commerce Department is busy drafting laws and regulations for a North American Union, a union of Canada, America, and Mexico. The President has attended secret meetings and signed at least 2 agreements under the Security and Prosperity Partnership Program. Information leaked out about the meetings, and now it is all in the open. No treaty has been signed, so Congress has not become involved. However, money from our Treasury is now being spent for this effort. We will have a new currency, the Amero, and a new constitution modeled on the Soviet Union's constitution. Our rights will not be inalienable, but they will be granted by government, who can also take them away. One sign that this is our future is the plans for the superhighways from southern Mexico through America and into Canada. These plans are not secret any longer. Huge amounts of property will be taken in the name of free trade, peace, and security. You will have a national ID card with a radio frequency chip in it. That's already law in America and will be implemented by May 2000. This man voted for it. You will not be able to move about freely. This is terrorism of the most worst kind, brought on you by our own government. The strongest, freest nation in the history of mankind will be averaged into world communism. Is that what you want? Are we the people still in control of this nation? We must begin to act like we are.
Stan Jones. On that, Conrad Burns, 3 minutes.
Sure glad you got such a rosy outlook on our future for our kids. And that's what the New World Order is. So we're leading by example on social distancing with this.
More than 1 in 5 Americans is about to be living under a new world order as New York joins California and a growing list of US states preparing to effectively shut down.
And those people who have been yelling, oh, the UN's going to take over global
conspiracy
government. They've been crazy, but now they're right.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's family.
The affirmative task we have now is to actually create a new world order, because the global order is changing again. And the institutions and the rules that worked so well in the post-World War II era for decades, they need to be strengthened.
This is the world you are graduating into. This is what I want to talk about today with you for a few minutes. I believe we, and particularly you, your class, has an incredible window of opportunity to lead in shaping a new world order for the 21st century in a way consistent with American interest and the common interest. Think of the possibilities. For the first time in history.
Shalom Akim. So, as you just seen, we went through 3 decades of video news reels showing how these devils who run the world have implemented this world communist system, which they refer to as the New World Order. Right? The Bible tells you that in the end, before the second coming of the Messiah, that the world will be taken over and in subjection to a nation known as Edom. Right? This nation, we understand today, are the Caucasian race. Right? And this is why over the past 3 decades, we have seen a rush to this New World Order. Right? And as you can see, in the second clip that I posted, where that libertarian politician Stan Jones, leaked in that Montana debate, he explained how the world was going into a world communist regime, and it would be based off of the Russian policies, right? And at the time, in 2006, when he came out with that, it seemed preposterous. And as that idiot politician who followed him tried to make a joke saying that he was painting such a rosy future for their kids. Well, look at what's going on now, right? We have a world which is looking towards Russia and China, 2 communist countries, as being better than America, right? Also, they are projected as the dominant powers, and you're seeing the lifting up of their social ideals over here in America, right? The socialized medicine, socialized schooling, and so forth, right? And I said all that and played all those videos to show you that one of the next big trends that we're going to see is the whole idea that you will own nothing in this new world order that we are being thrusted into. Okay? This is the way that the devil wants it. Right? When I say the devil, I'm talking about the Edomites, the so-called Caucasian race that rule the world. See, they do not want you to own anything. Ideally, if they could, they would take everything away from you. And what we're seeing now, from the collapse of the markets to the devaluation of the dollar and world currencies, and the inflation, which is about to run rampant, this is all done on purpose to remove from you or the masses the little that they have, right? Or at least get as much as they can away from the masses. Because just as the government took away land from the people of America by waiting for them to die off, and then they would come in and basically take the land rights and hold the lodial title to the land, and then sell back the property rights to people who would come and buy real estate, right? Causing them to pay a yearly rental fee known as property tax, right? Where you could build your house on this land, but you don't actually own the land, right? That's can be seen also in car registration, right? When you buy a car, you don't actually own it once you register it, right? When you register something, you give up its ownership, and that's exactly what you do every year. You pay your car registration fee. You're paying a rental fee to the state that you've given the car up to, right? And the car, is not technically yours, nor is anything that you buy with the U.S. dollar, right? It belongs to the government, right? And it's all part of Esau, right? These Edomites, witchcraft, right? They use Babylonian money witchcraft to enslave all of us. See, this is why when we're out here telling people that you are oppressed, that you are in slavery, this is what we're talking about, right? The levels of deception are so deep that the modern day slavery is hidden from the average purview of reality, right? A lot of people think that they're actually free and that they have a choice, but the problem is that you don't have a choice. You're actually given your choices by your masters. Now, I digress. Let's go ahead and get into this, posting that I seen that made me bring up the subject, right? This person here, let's read it. It says, the late stage is here, right? And he's talking about late state capitalism. Basically, we're going to start seeing crazy events and just crazy scenarios come out once the collapse of capitalism comes, and then the inevitable communist, socialist regime will pop up afterwards, where it says, the late stage is here. In 10 years, you will not own anything. You will rent your home, car, music, TV, and everything else, right? And this is why you're seeing right now companies like BlackRock and these other big investment firms, along with a lot of rich people, just buying up tracts of homes and property, right? You got Bill Gates buying up. He's right now the largest farm owner in America, right? It's because they are setting up an agenda to be the new rulers of the earth, right? Well, more so, I mean, the landowners, that is, right? Because they already own the world, but it's done all in secret. But let's continue. It says, insight. It says, why are the experts pessimistic about the future of home ownerships? Right? And it tells you here, let's read it. Right? Look at this chart. It shows you home ownership rate from 2001 to 2016. So for the most part, the trend is going down as far as ownership, right? People are starting to own less and less. And then same thing, this is future expectations, right? Because look at the 2054, which we're not going to make it there, man. The Lord will return by that time. But they're expecting not that many people to own property, right? And also, if you look at the U.S. auto loan debt, the amount of debt that has been accumulated from just buying cars is going crazy, right? It is becoming more and more expensive to own a car, and that's on purpose. This is why every year for the last decade they've been increasing the registration cost on cars, and also things like gas, insurance, all these things, because they're trying to make it a burden for you to own a vehicle, right? They want to limit how much travel you're able to do. And again, it just kind of shows as percentage of U.S. new car sales that are leased. Right now, if you don't understand what leased is, it basically means a long-term rental, where you don't own it, you're simply just renting it for a long term. But look, from 2006 to 2014, the lease rates have gone up, right? Also here shows you holiday, or says used car prices over time. So again, even used car prices have been going up just because, again, people aren't buying these newer cars. They just continue to use these same older cars. And then it goes on, let's see, putting the luxury and leasing. So again, ultimately people are just leasing more cars than they're buying. And then let's see, and then when you go into this metric where it talks about music, right? Is this the end of owning music? Well, remember back in the days where you would actually buy CDs and tapes, and you would actually be able to download music, right? People used to do that with Napster, and they still do it to today, right? Where they actually own the files, or they, don't own the files, but they have the files. But look at the trend of how music happens now. You no longer have the file, you basically have to stream it, right? And if you don't have a streaming service, or if you're not on the internet, you can't listen to music. And same thing, and that's going to be the exact same thing with movies, TV shows. Like it tells you here, it says the death of DVD. Why sales dropped more than 86% in 13 years, right? This little highlight part says here, it says a combination of the Great Recession. Again, the Great Recession was manufactured. A rise in customers buying on demand and digital copies of films and the launch of streaming services is what has caused DVD sales to plummet, right? So this right here is kind of the way everything is going, right? It tells you here, it says, ever wonder why it's so hard to buy or show a show on Google Play? Where can you even buy music anymore? Subscriptions and rent checks are our future, right? See, because this person, they could see this trend, right? And there's other things too, right? Like, for example, I work in the IT business, and one thing I'm seeing is that all the programs that at one time we used to be able to install into your computer, things like Microsoft Office, Adobe, Photoshop, and all those things, these are now starting to be downloadable services, right? They're going from products to services because, pretty soon it's going the whole idea where you buy our software once and you can use it for as long as you have it, that's going to go away. And now you're simply just going to be paying a yearly fee to continue to use it. Again, this is what it means to go from a product to a service, right? And we're going to see this happen with our cars, our houses, everything, every aspect of life. This is how these devils want it, right? Here's another article from Futurism that says the era of ownership is ending. In the future, possessions will be a thing of the past, right? And this is why they have shows like Hoarders and all these things, and because they're trying to get all the people online and on board with the idea of leasing, right? This is why you're seeing, older houses become extremely expensive, right? You're starting to see it pushed upon the masses of buying these McMansions, which are these bigger houses with no property on it, where basically you pay rent, to live there, man. You're basically subjected to HOA organizations, and things like that, right? So again, this is the future that Esau has for the world, right? Where basically he just continues to get everybody into a perpetual state of servitude, where basically you have to work to live, and that you can never have a rest. This is Psalms 5 and 6. Thou shalt destroy them that speak leasing. Yahweh Ba'ashem Ashai will abhor the bloody and deceitful man. Right? And you see the things that these devils are having to do to get the world into this, new communist leasing world, is they have to do a lot of bloody things, like the perpetual wars they've done, the stealing of property, the stealing of lands, the killing off of masses of people. See, this is what the Edomite has brought to the world. This is why in Revelations it talks about the red horse that was given a mighty sword to take peace from the earth. Well, that's what these devils have done. And what have they done with all that after they've conquered the world? Well, now that they've conquered the world, they're now seeking to put a death grip upon it and its commerce and how you live, right? No longer can you live in a free state of being where you own, things that can bring you peace or, a bit of freedom. Right now, everything is going to ultimately be at their will. Right? This is Jeremiah 49:9. If grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? If thieves by night they will destroy till they have enough. But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not. You see, Esau, when he is now at the height of his power, he's not going to stop. He's going to continue to go, pursue the domination until he's going to take everything from the people, man. Right? There's a law in the Bible that tells you that if you were to, plant a field, that you're to leave about 10% for the homeless, right? And this is what's known as gleaning, right? The gleaning grapes, right? You could go back to the story of Ruth, where she survived on the gleaning, fruits and harvest that was left in the fields, right? And this was left for the widows and the homeless people, right? But you see, these devils, they don't leave anything for anybody, man. They need it all, and they want it all, and they're gonna try to get it all. But like the Lord said, man, He's made Esau bare. And how has He done that? Well, He's starting to show the world who the devil really is, right? This is why He's bringing out this truth. This is why we're making daily videos, coming out, calling the so-called white man the devil and showing the people the shit he actually does, right? I just showed you 3 decades of progressive videos showing how these devils wanted to implement a new world order, how it started to come out. It was being, exposed, and then now it's finally here, right? To where you even have now the president, and it's been for a while now, presidents coming out talking about the new world order. Well, you are now in it, people, right? And this is why you ultimately need to wake up to the truth. And what is the truth? The truth is that the world is ran right now by the so-called devil of the Bible, and that the Lord is revealing who that devil is, right? And in doing so, He's also revealing who His chosen people are, that being the Israelites, or who you would know today as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians. This is the future you have to look forward to. This is a man named David Spangler. He is a UN higher up, and in his book he writes, "No one will enter the New World Order unless he or she will make a pledge to worship Lucifer. No one will enter the New Age unless he will take a Luciferian initiation." You see, so you may think that you could get by and you're just gonna be doing you, but you see, there's gonna come a point where these devils, just like now, right, where they lock down the world, they're making everybody right now, they're trying to get everybody to take those jabs by bribing them, by continually bugging them, right? Eventually it's going to get to the point where these devils are no longer going to ask anymore. They're simply going to make it, right? Make it mandatory to take these jabs, or to at least, they're going to make it mandatory to take an RFID microchip either in your right hand or in your forehead, as it's prophesied in Revelations 13 and 16 about the MOB. Well, that's what this is talking about, right? That's how you're going to take that Luciferian initiation. You're going to take a pledge to worship these devils, right? In their image, their world order, right? This is Edom, people. This is the rulers of the world who have hidden themselves, but now are starting to come out. This is Proverbs 22:3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. So you see, we're out here telling you about the wickedness that's about to come. right? And in doing so, you need to prepare yourself, right? Physically, mentally, financially, right? You need to prepare for what's coming, right? The New World Order. And for the most of the world, they're going to go along to get along, right? They're going to do what these devils want them to do. They're going to take the jabs, they're going to take the chips, they're going to, recite the new pledge, and they're going to be, part of the world, right? Just so that way they can continue to live and enjoy the small luxuries that Esau affords them, right? But for us who are, following the truth, who are seeking to please the Lord and want to do His will, because ultimately we understand what it is to do that, right? It's going to bring true salvation and ultimately immortality to those who are able to make it, right? And in doing so, the Lord has actually given us an example or a hint on what we have to prepare ourselves to do in these last days, right? This is his remarks to us about this. This is 2 Ezra 16:40. Oh, my people, right? And when he's saying my people, he's talking about the Israelites, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians, and anybody whose father's lineage goes back to that bloodline. Hear my word. Make you ready for thy battle, and in those evil days be even as pilgrims upon the earth. Right? So you see that? When the Lord here is telling us, man, that we cannot get connected we cannot be connected to our materialistic possessions, okay? If you have a car, if you have lots of money, lots of possessions, a house, things that you've fought hard for in this society, but you have to be prepared to lose it all, right? There's that movie, what is it, Star Wars, right? You had Yoda, right? He was telling Anakin, right, prepare to lose everything you love, right? And that's the truth, right? You have to, once you put stock into something so much that you're willing to give up this truth then you've now lost, and the devil has taken you, man, right? You've now basically worshiped that idol that you've created, and be it in your job, your possessions, your ideology, right? You have to be willing to give up everything for this truth. Now, that being said, you don't have to actually give everything up right now, right? You just hold on to it for as long as you can, right? If you have a car that you like, that gets you around places, then continue to use it, right? Because it was a gift for you from the Lord, right? And He's going to bless you with everything that you have until He takes it away from you. Now, how is He going to take it away from you? Or how do you know it's to that point where you have to give it up? Well, it's the point where you have to choose between the Lord and this world, right? Now, and I don't know how the whole scenario is going to play out, but if it ever comes down to where you have to register your car, but to register your car, you have to show your proof of a microchip, right? Or that you have the mark of the beast, right? Then that's the point where you say, well, no more, you're not going to register your car anymore, right? If they come and want to take, if owning your house comes to the point where they're going to require that to own a house, you now need to have a microchip installed in you, then that's when you leave that house. You get rid of it, right? And you use the money you get from it to live a life of, of pilgrimage, right? And so forth and so forth. So these are just examples of what the Lord has said. Let's continue. Verse 41. He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. He that occupieth merchandise as he that hath no profit by it, and he that buildeth as he that shall not dwell therein. He that soweth as if he should not reap, so also he that planteth the vineyard as he that shall not gather the grapes. So again, right, use this time wisely, Akim, right? Prepare yourself, prepare your family, your loved ones, people that are in this truth that you're over, And also, again, prepare yourself for what's coming, right? Set yourself in a good position to, try not to give these devils too much leverage over you, right? But again, prepare to stand your ground, because again, I should actually say we're in this new world order, and they're now making it more apparent. And little by little, they're going to make it harder to live in this world, right? Pretty soon, you're not going to be able to travel, right? Right now, we have a lot of brothers going to other states to visit other brothers and do all that and go on airplanes. But, pretty soon, we're going to have to get used to just not being able to travel, right? You're only going to be able to stay in your city. Like it tells you in 2nd Ezra that a man shall desire to go into a city but shall not be able to. Well, they're going to lock this down, right? So this is Proverbs 7:22. He goeth after her straightway, as an ox goeth to the slaughter, or as a fool to the corrections of the stocks, till a dart strike through his liver, as a bird hasteth to the snare, and knoweth not that it is for his life. Hearken unto me now, therefore, O ye children, and attend to the words of my mouth. Let not thine heart decline in her ways. Go not astray in her paths. And when it says her, it's talking about Babylon the Great, right? The harlot, the harlot of the world, right? So it tells you not to go after the ways of this world, right? Because like I said again, they're going to make being part of this new world order seem like it's the next best thing, right? Right now we're seeing this with people coming out of the lockdown, right? People think they're free. You have the Foo Fighters and other bands throwing concerts for people who are vaccinated, right? And the thing is that those people, they've already taken that pledge. They've already worshipped the image of the beast, right? And the people who are going to be tired of being ostracized and excluded, they're gonna, go. They're gonna go after. They're gonna, submit and take those jabs, take those chips, right? And ultimately, they're gonna be like an ox that goeth to the slaughter, right? So, hopefully, this video was edifying. So, the next time, I just want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kwakwadash, the honors my teachers, the apostles, and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.